For expressions, maps. A map for expression takes an existing collection and builds a new value by iterating through each element. Terraform defines for expressions as a way to transform one complex value into another complex value. When you use braces instead of brackets, the result is a map or object shape value rather than a tuple. The mechanism is iteration plus key assignment. The outcome is that you can preserve structure while changing names, values, or both. A map for expression has two required outputs for each element. A key on the left side of the arrow operator and a value on the right side. The mechanism is explicit key construction. The outcome is that Terraform can build a named result instead of a positional one. This is the main difference from list style for expressions, which only emit values. In a map result, the key becomes the lookup address for the new value. That makes the expression useful when later code needs stable named access instead of numeric positions. When the input is a map or object, Terraform can expose both the key and the value during iteration. The mechanism is for key value in collection. The outcome is that you can transform the label, the payload, or both in a single pass. This matters because many infrastructure inputs already arrive as named settings. You do not need to flatten them into a list first. You can keep the named identity attached while reshaping the contents. A map for expression can include an if clause to filter elements during construction. The mechanism is conditional exclusion at iteration time. The outcome is that Terraform emits only the pairs that satisfy the condition. This is different from setting unwanted entries to null. A filtered element does not exist in the result at all. That distinction matters when later code depends on the presence or absence of a key. A transform map becomes operational when it feeds for each. For each accepts a map or set of strings and creates one instance per element. The mechanism is stable instance addressing by the key. The outcome is that each resource instance gets a predictable identity, such as resource instance key name. A map for expression is useful here because it lets you prepare the exact key set before resource creation begins. The highest risk mistake is treating a map key like a cosmetic label. In Terraform, keys used by for each become part of the resource address in state. The mechanism is address binding between the map key and the tracked instance. The outcome is that changing a key can cause Terraform to destroy one instance and create another, even if the underlying value stayed the same. On the submarine, valve lineups were checked by position and label because a wrong identifier could shift action onto the wrong system. Terraform works the same way. A change key is not a comment edit. It is an identity change. A list for expression preserves order and produces values by position. A map for expression preserves named access and produces values by key. The mechanism is result shape selection through brackets. Square brackets for tuple style results, and curly braces for map or object style results. The outcome is that you choose whether downstream code should depend on positions or names. Infrastructure usually benefits from names because names survive reordering better than indices do.